Welcome to the channel. In this video, I will be going over the patch notes, not the entire thing, just briefly talking about the changes that apply to the Atlas build. I've been getting a lot of random comments on different videos asking how this impacts the build and whatnot, so I decided that, I rarely do this, I rarely go through the patch notes because I just don't feel like I understand enough about other weapons to really talk about all the changes, but I do know my build, and I have been playing it for a while, so I'll go over my initial thoughts on the things that I think will impact our build quite a bit, for the good or for the bad, and then we'll go from there. I am also interested to see how my thoughts change as I actually hop on the PTR. I haven't played yet, but just on paper I can tell you what I'm thinking. So, first off, new heart rune. I don't really care too much about it. Alright, so updated PvP damage mitigation formula to basically scale off your armor and just not have like a flat damage reduction. So I think this is obviously going to be better for heavy armor, as everyone kind of predicts, but rend, that's also going to affect armor too. So it depends on how much we can increase our fortify. So right now I had a 50% cap. I'm not entirely sure how big they're going to increase that, but we can get fortified from a lot of different things, primarily with our shield rush giving us, like 33% when it's on the shield. So basically, if you hit multiple people, you can get a lot of fortify and stack that up. So if this doesn't have a cap anywhere near 50%, then this will be extremely good, even though rend is also going to be armor based, because we can stack a lot of armor, even more armor than a lot of people can stack their rend. So I think that'll be pretty good from our standpoint. Okay, about crit value, Warhammer doesn't really have a high crit value base, and I'm not really gonna dive into all of this. Basically, from what I can understand, if you weren't using Keen, you got your crit value increased. If you were using Keen, then it's a little bit lower or something of that sort. Who knows? We don't really care about that. I'm talking about things that are going for our overall defense. So, looking at the heavy equip load, this can be a buff and also a little bit of a nerf. And here's what I think, right? Overall, the heavy equip load giving us increased CC duration was good. And having 300 comm that also did that was very good. And the reason for that, and something that not a lot of people really think about, is when you're in a 1vx scenario and you do a CC, and your CC is super long, you can get off a lot of damage on a lot of people by having a lot of CC duration. So when I hit 2 people with shield bash, I can get a fully charged heavy attack on both of those people, because Warhammer heavy attacks are pretty much single target for how little the AoE is for that. So the other person is not really taken out of the CC. So my CC duration was so long, I could get 2 fully charged heavy attacks. On Shockwave, I can get a heavy attack on one guy and get a clear out on the second guy and the third guy if there's another person over there, and then get a light attack on one of the 2 players that I hit with clear out. So that's a lot of damage to a lot of people around me. And since I had chain, it could just, literally everybody was getting hit with something. So over time, everyone around me was taking a lot more damage. So this is pretty interesting. We didn't really rock freedom before because we didn't need it. There wasn't a combo lock-in that could basically kill us in one shot. So we didn't need to escape it, and once we got freed from the combo, then we could, use Defiant Stance and reposition and hold block and try and heal up for a little bit. But this will be interesting, especially since CCs now don't do as much damage. Alright, okay, here's the juicy stuff. 300 strength attributes and the 300 con bonus being switched, or not switched, but completely removing grit from 300 and putting it on con. I think that's going to be good. And the reason I say that, so before we were using Warhammer, you have your grit with the heavy attacks, but the startup of the heavy attack wasn't protected. And so a lot of times you start the heavy attack and get interrupted and stuff like that. But this is more important with the sword and shield. So when you're in a big group, the main issue with spamming heavy attacks for trend recovery on the sword and board is why we stopped using trend recovery altogether and went forward with life steals, because you can never get that heavy attack on. They'll just interrupt you altogether, and basically it was very hard to land that heavy attack on sword and board. But more importantly, a lot of the lifesteal and staying in the clumps and really maximizing the lifesteal off of the light attacks was even difficult, because you just get perma stunned and perma interrupted and stuff like that with all these staggers. So this is going to be very good. And when we have our lifesteal mixed in with Defiant Stance with our refreshing move, and they kind of nerfed that a little bit down, so I'll get to that, then this is going to be actually pretty good, especially in the clumps. What we're going to have to do is move fully to Refreshing Ward now that we can literally just trade with anybody, with as many people as possible. We're going to set up, hit people with Shield Rush, assuming that they increase the cap of Fortify, hit a lot of people with the Shield Rush at once, stack that really high. We have Sturdy Fortification, which is 4% fortify every time you block. So we can stack that up. That, like, one blunderbuss guy hitting you, all those bullets count as a single hit. So basically, if somebody hits you with a blunderbuss, you're already at 20% fortify. With the Sturdy Fortification, you have 10% from one of the shield passives as well. And then if you shield rush, 2 or 3 people, you can really max that out, and we can get so much fortify. So that plus Defiant Stance plus grit now, where you have decreased damage, and then we'll use our life steal. We'll literally can spam that with our refreshing move and our heart rune as well, and that's just going to be powerful. It's going to be very, very powerful. But strength is getting a lot of heavy attack damage increase, and so that's actually really good. That's very, very good. And considering Warhammer, if someone's primarily using Warhammer for the DPS, they're basically doing a lot of heavy attacks. So it is a tempting thing, but I mean, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't go for the 300 strength versus our constitution. Okay, what else here is noticeable? Yeah, the exhaust. Oh my goodness, thank goodness. So they're like added 50% max to exhaust. Like Blunderbuss was literally just smacking us with this stamina regen debuff. So this is good. So they added a 50% max for the exhaust and increased stamina regen. I'm not entirely sure if we had a lot of things that were giving us regen, at least for our build. We always went with regenerating versus nimble, so regenerating is going to increase your health regen by a certain percentage of your health. And a lot of people weren't using that because not a lot of people were running 300 constitution. So that regen was not really a lot, but since we had a lot of health, we were over 16,000 health, that plus our divine plus, we pop Defiant Stance, that is going to increase that with our food. And there's also a sword and board passive that increases your healing and regen as well. So all that stacked, and like we would literally hold block and stall for a little bit in our health. We would out heal a lot of dots on us and a lot of damage over time effects that people are hitting us with. So the fact that this 50% max on stem regen is not really going to affect us when our regen wasn't anything special to begin with. We use Shield Rush and Shield Bash to get a lot of stamina back. Those moves, when you have the passive, give you a flat value of stamina, and that did not correlate with, you don't need to not be blocking for that to work, like stamina regen does. Alright, let's see. So over here, so the added taunts, yeah, fun, PvE stuff. not a PvE player. Alright, so crowd control balance, this is where we're at. So review all weapons to make a more clear differentiation between attacks that are intended for crowd control, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so they reduce the damage for crowd control abilities and remove staggers for damage focused abilities. Alright, so overall, we have to look at this from, a global standpoint. A lot of people are going to be hitting or using staggers and using CCA moves, so a global decrease in a lot of damage. And what that means is we're going to be a lot more tankier. And in PvP, a lot of it is looking for the opportunity to combo somebody out of there. And what this means from a global standpoint is the threshold for when you hit somebody with your mega combo is just going to be a little bit lower now that we have a little bit more less damage. So people are going to make mistakes. They're going to let their health ride a little bit lower, and when before you would initiate your full combo at 70% health, now you may have to wait to like 50% health and just straight up nuke them. So right now, like things like shockwave damage being decreased, this means nothing, right? It was already, you weren't using shockwave for any damage, so 80% to 60% is like 0% from 0%. And clear out, this would probably hit us a little bit because clear out was a big DPS move that we were using. Clear out to light attack was very potent, but now we may have to switch our mentality and do clear out into shield bash more often and use that as our primary, or like save that for a more potent combo that we would be doing instead of finaling off with clear out into light. So Path of Destiny, this also is going to be a big hit because Path of Destiny was a big heal and it heals based off the damage. So this actually is going to hit, but I've been playing with Wrecking Ball and switching both of them out. They both have their advantages and disadvantages. Wrecking Ball has grit, so when you're getting slammed with a lot of people, this helps. Path of Destiny hits a lot of people, get your heart root up a lot faster, but it has no grit, so it's kind of risky to pull off, and it has a very long animation where you're not protected with grit. So Wrecking Ball, huge decrease in its damage. To be honest, that's going to hit a lot of people. I wasn't really a Wrecking Ball fan just because of the small area that it was hitting people with, but yeah, I think I'll still probably use it. What I'll end up doing is not chaining Wrecking Ball into the other CCs. I know you can chain it pretty good with other CCs, like clear out into Wrecking Ball into clear out, Wrecking Ball into Shockwave, into clear out, into backstab. Heavy attack after you do a shield bash after the clear out, things like that. Those combos are very potent with Wrecking Ball being at 130%. With this now, I have to test it, but I might just be doing, CC basic attack. Wait for them to mess up, CC again with another basic attack, and have your CCs leading into a basic attack for the main DPS that goes with it. Shockwave is always going to be very potent, having the rend and having the weakened as well, and the slow, which is going to proc our 200 strength perk. Alright, so that's pretty much where that's going. Let's see, sword and board. Things that are important here. So reduce the damage from shield bash. Oh my goodness, this is a joke. This is legit a joke. Shield bash does no damage, and they further decreased it. This is not noticeable at all. So don't look at this and feel bad. Okay. So shield bash. This is not significant. Don't worry about it. Leaping strike. We never used leaping strike, but it got nerfed, so not really affecting us. Reverse stab. We never used that at all, and got nerfed. This is important, right? Shield rush damage, improved shield rush weaken from 10% to 20%. Like this is gonna make us so tanky. Like I don't know how they're gonna kill us at this point, because the weaken this plus our shockwave weekend and having global damage reduction on everybody, like I wonder how they're gonna take down tanks at this point, especially tanks who just go full force and go with everything. And these are the other weapons. You can look at that on your own time. Not really concerned about it. Fire Staff. I don't play Fire Staff a lot, but they got some pretty good buffs. I won't go over that because I'm not an expert in that. So, let's see. Helios. Yeah, random stuff. Not really important to us. Trying to make sure I don't miss anything that's very useful. Oh, yeah. Fix an issue where roots applied by the gravity passive we're applying through block. Oh my goodness. And they had one where it was with the greatsword as well. If I can find it, it's probably somewhere. Basically, greatsword, I forget the name of the move. It's on the top of my head, whatever. Yes, basically with that, some of these moves were applying status defects even though you were blocking it. So I know I was blocking gravity well and stuff like that, and you would still get rooted for certain things, and you would still get rooted for, or not rooted, but still get the, yes, Skyward Slash. There we go. Yes, here it is. So they would still give you the debuff on Skyward Slash, even though you blocked it. That would, like I don't understand, like, why would you even, like, what's the point of blocking if I still get my healing reduced after that? So I'm glad that that was removed or was fixed. Is there anything else here that I'm missing? Yeah, well, basically that's the main thing. So block is being more effective from that standpoint. Hatchet, oh, yeah. I won't go into all these changes, but just know you Hatchet runners who would, like, tickling us with light attacks, and then you finally get a good combo and they're like 20% health, and they run and pop berserk and you can't catch them because they're fast and they're healing and all of that, and then you finally manage to kill them and then they come back to life. This is probably going to be a buff in certain standpoints, but when a lot of people are hitting them, they're probably not going to be able to survive it. For us, what this means is after they get their Defy Death and that pops, what we're going to try and do is keep them in a CC, or at least have them in the CC, and hopefully we can get off a good combo when this pops, because I don't know if it's going to release them from that CC. That's what I was trying to do previously, is someone with Defy Death, if you can have that Defy Death proc when you hit them with the shield bash, then you could wait for as long as physically possible before you initiate the next step of the combo, which would be a shockwave into clear out into a light attack, and hopefully you could have that that duration of his Defy Death finish before then. I can't remember if that was very effective or not, but I remember trying to test that and trying to practice setting that up as a way to defeat them. But this is good. It's very good. Anything else here? I know they had one with Tread and Recovery that I wanted to talk about. Musket's getting nerfed. So, bug fix. Yeah, this with Sword and Shield, not anything too outstanding. I don't want this video to be too long. Let's see. Oh, Tread and Recovery. Here we go. This was our main perk for healing and surviving. The fact that it got nerfed doesn't mean that I'm not going to run it, but it is going to be less effective. What we're probably going to end up needing to do is get Lifesteal and Tread and Recovery and Chain, and have that be our new Warhammer from that standpoint. Because Lifesteal on the Warhammer is going to be big. We're going to need it. And the fact that they, reduce that is not good at all. So, in terms of the weapon perks, so we have Shockwave, we have, um, yeah, just Shockwave really, and Leeching Path of Destiny for using Path of Destiny versus Wrecking Ball. Wrecking Ball you don't need on the weapon anymore after its nerf, right? It's not going to be a, damn, my phone's gone off. It's not going to be a main this thing. It's not going to be a main DPS move. But yeah, Leeching Path of Destiny on the weapon as well with this damage reduction. I don't know how much healing we're going to get from it. So lifesteal is going to be better because our heavy attacks are still going to hit hard, our light attacks are still going to hit hard, and we're going to get a lot of healing from just random other things as well. So we'll stick with Tread and Recovery, try and get lifesteal and Chain. You want Chain versus Attunement because our abilities are not going to be really hitting that much. And the good thing with Chain is you're hitting a lot of other people who aren't making mistakes. So you just need one person to make a mistake, and then you can get damage on everybody around them. So one person's incompetence is basically affecting the entire group when you have Chain on. And with our build, I mean, we're pretty slow, so we can only capitalize on, you know, little mistakes and try and get as much damage as possible. Okay. Oh yeah, so Fix a Heart Rune attack damage would not be reduced. So basically some Heart Runes are just not even going to hit us as hard. So once again we're getting even more tankier, which is good. Am I missing anything, y'all? I think I've covered the main thing. Yeah, let me know in the comments if I've missed anything major. This is just me, like I literally just got back from the hospital. Not from being sick. But let me see. So my brain is pretty toasted. But I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I'm missing. Okay, yeah, so long story short, what you want to do now in order to prepare, still work towards getting 5 pieces of aversion, 5 pieces of resilience, try and get the pertinent weapon perks on your armor. So that is going to be Shockwave. If you're going the Leeching Path of Destiny route, then Leeching Path of Destiny. If you're going the Wrecking Ball route, then Wrecking Ball. And you want Defiant Stance as well. So you're looking at around 3 weapon perks on the armor with all aversion, all resilience as well. And then you want Refreshing Ward. So Ward is going to be good now because we have a lot of grit, so we can just be trading, and they nerfed Refreshing move somewhere over here. Basically, I think it only procs once on a hit or once per attack or something. I can't remember, but anyway, I mean, it's not all that significant in terms of its nerf. We'll still be able to use it pretty effectively. And yeah, so that's the main thing. And then for your weapon, you want Tread and Recovery, obviously Chain, and then you can either go for Lifesteal or get like another DPS perk. But at the moment, I'm not entirely seeing the use or the utility of having Wrecking Ball on the weapon or Shockwave on the weapon. I never really wanted Shockwave on the weapon, but now even less so because Rend is armor based, and so it's not going to affect everyone who's using light armor nearly as much as it was before. So like it doesn't really matter all that much. You can probably get more damage off of a damage focused perk. I just haven't really decided what that damage focused perk would be, but for a more sustained focused perk, I think Lifesteal would be good as a way to compensate for the Tread and Recovery nerf. Overall, sorry for this being a super long video, but those are my initial thoughts, and I can't wait for what I'm saying to be completely changed as new information comes out and for me to actually get on the PTR and test some of these things. But yeah, keep at it, and let's keep on showing the world what PvP tanks can do. Peace.